Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Silver Tears Tarot. And of course, a very warm welcome to those of you who are joining for the first time. So this video is going to be a little bit different. So for those of you joining for the first time, just know this one's not my typical video. In this one, we're going to talk a little bit about meditation. And so this is a total bonus video. We're going to pull in some tarot as well. So I'm going to show you a way that you can use the cards as a tool. And so this video comes about really for a couple of reasons. First off, so many readings lately have been giving us this advice to meditate, and it may be a great idea, but not everyone really knows how to do this. They don't even always know where to go to get started, you know? And so there were two conversations that I had with two of you actually, who thought it might be nice to have a quick video on the topic. So here we go. And the other reason that I thought this would be a good time is because the veil between us and our higher selves, between us and our guides, is thinning out right now. So this is a great time to put yourself in a position to experience that. Gives us, I guess, kind of an easy button, you know. So I'll tell you a little bit about me and my experience. I am not a meditation expert by any stretch. I have been meditating since my parents taught me in childhood. So when I was 6, my father led us through what was my first meditation. And then my mother gave me a secret mantra, and I was so excited. And I told one of my friends that I had a mantra, and I was surprised to find out not everybody gets a secret mantra when they're 6 or whatever, you know? So, and I kind of have done it on and off throughout my life, but for the last 6 years, since about 2016, I have been an avid daily meditator. I use it to help calm myself down, breathe emotions into my body, shift energies, look for answers. A lot of times I use it just to take a break, you know. I have a lot of fun little meditations I do, and some kind of tricks I use on myself to reset quickly, to circumvent longer periods of sleep than when I don't have a chance, when I'm crunched. Or maybe to spend time delving into something that I need to investigate, you know. But that's not where I think we start. I think it would be easier to start a little simpler than that. So to start with, you know, what is meditation really? When I did a quick search on the internet, and I'll just show you because I wrote it down in what is actually my meditation book, I got a couple of definitions. So let's see. We have training in awareness, focused attention and awareness. And then I like this one, paying attention to the present moment with an accepting, non-judgmental disposition. So these all make sense. I can confirm these definitions, but I would say from like a practical perspective, they don't necessarily help us understand where to get started. So I think it makes sense to start small with something that you can build on. So that's how I'm going to approach it. And I will do it with you here later in the video to give you a little bit of practice. But first, I wanted to give you some ideas about how you can build on it and how you can use it. So I'm going to start with the way that I got back into it in 2016. So a few years ago, in 2016, one of my kids was in 3rd grade and having just a bear of a time focusing on things. Like they'd start reading a sentence and their mind would wander before they would even get to the end of it. Or, you know, had a hard time just even getting focused on the sentence in the first place. So I thought this might be a good time to start teaching a bit of meditation. And since I was dealing with a child, I didn't want to make it too complicated or too difficult. So we started with 5 minutes at a time. And at that time, like I said, I had meditated all my life, but not consistently. And I honestly could not have told you the last time that I had done it at that time. So those first few times, I would kind of guide us both through it a little bit, not talking nonstop, but just once in a while so that I could make sure we were still staying focused and just kind of giving a little bit of help. And then we started to just kind of sit there and do it together. My preschooler wandered in and would do it with us some days. So we got an experience or two, I'll be honest, of meditating with some distractions. So we started to learn a little bit more. Both of us noticed how some days, like our minds wandered like crazy, and on other days, it seemed like things were a little bit easier. So, I took notes, I read books, and I'm actually going to show you one of my favorites here in a minute. But I noticed that it was just really hard not to be judgmental. Like this definition talked about non-judgmental response, and it was hard for me. I thought I should be getting better at it. I caught myself judging a lot for a while there, but I stuck with it. Um, I will say my kids are not as dedicated to it as I am. They are what I would call fair weather meditators. They just show up to humor me sometimes, but I still meditate daily, sometimes several times per day. When do I do it? Some days it's before I even get out of bed, because it's like a fast path to connecting to my higher self. Although I have to tell you, I had no idea what was going on at first there. Just like, who is this? It's a little like meeting yourself from the future, only it's very much in the now. Anyway, so when do I do it? I do it a lot of times. I do it right after my workout in the morning. That's like the easiest time. Sometimes I'll close the door of my office. In between meetings, I'll meditate if I need to when I'm at work. So sometimes it's before I go to bed at night. It really just depends. Any time is fine. I usually meditate in blocks of 20 or 45 minutes, but that's just a personal preference, and it's convenient. So sometimes, though, when like in between meetings, if I need a quick reset, I can honestly manage a solid reset in about 4 minutes. And if I need more, then, and this happens sometimes, let's just say I have been known to go retreat by myself and meditate almost constantly for days on end. So that's a great way for me to spend a weekend. And I learned how to meditate while walking, while living my life. I learned how to be present during an entire day, so that even when I'm in the shower or doing the dishes, I am still capable of having that meditative observation sort of energy going. I can cultivate that awareness even now while I'm talking with you guys. And in fact, that's one of the biggest benefits that I noticed right away. As I became a daily meditator, about 2 weeks into the process, I think I learned I had the ability to slow down time. So let me explain. You know how when you get into like a car accident, or you're falling, or some kind of thing is happening to you and time slows down. It's like if all these seconds were beads on a string, it's like an elastic string and it stretches out, and all of a sudden things slow down. It's like slow-mo in your memory and in your experience. You can do this. You have the ability to slow things down when you need to. So when I get into a stressful situation, one of the things that I do, and of course, has no impact on anyone else in the situation, but what I do is I stretch that string right out. I slow down time, and that enables me to get a handle on my emotions, make sure that I'm kind of responding to things properly, and just stop, evaluate, move forward, and everything's not coming at me so quickly. So that's one of those things that I find most useful in my daily life. And then later, after I had gotten started on things, when things happened that caused me a lot of pain, so like when my dad passed away, that's what I used to keep me anchored. Later, when I worked through some of the issues I was still holding on to around my dad, I incorporated some mantras into those meditations. And, I could do a whole other video on those mantras if you guys want, but going into that would take a little while. So I'm going to skip it for this round, but it's about concepts like gratitude, forgiveness. So let me know if you want me to make that one. But I meditate on these every single day. And if you hang around my channel long enough, you'll hear them, because some of the messages come out in the readings, and I'll usually, those words are super great way to convey those messages sometimes. So you'll hear consistencies between what I've learned and then, what's coming through in some of the readings. So I tell you all this to tell you there are a lot of uses for meditation, lots of benefits. To being able to slow down time, obviously, be more cool-headed in situations more of the time. Like, no one's perfect, but this sure helps. Meditation is something that I do every single day. Does not feel like a chore to me. It's something that I look forward to. And my favorite part is breathing. Honestly, I love the way that it starts to do breathe, or that it feels when you start to do your breathing. So that's what I want to share with you first. let's do a quick exercise. And this is one that you can do anytime. And then I'll give you a couple of ideas that you could use to kind of branch out from there. So the possibilities really are endless. But like I said, we'll do a little exercise to get us started. So we're just going to breathe together a little bit. So I want you to get into a comfortable position where you can close your eyes and still hear me. This first one is short. And, breath is how you communicate with your body. You're going to see what I mean in a minute if you don't know already. But, if you play a sport, if you run, if you do yoga, if you dance, then you already know that your breath moves your body. So you'll see that. And if not, like I said, you'll see what I mean. So you just close your eyes. You're going to breathe in and out on a count of 4. So it's a count of 4 in and a count of 4 out. And when you do this by yourself, you can just count in your mind. You'll be able to go at your own pace, but I'm going to count a nice average one for you because really these are deep resetting breaths, but you don't want them to be too deep. And you don't want them to be too shallow either, because different breaths communicate different things to your body. And what we're doing is resetting. So that's the way that we're going to take nice, even in, even out breaths. So let's go ahead and do just a few of those breaths. And like I said, I'll go ahead and count those for you at a nice kind of average pace. So starting with your inhale. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 2, 3, 4. All right, so open your eyes. Take note of how you feel and what you thought about, what kind of things popped into your mind. And we're going to do it again. Not for quite as long, but this time I want you to close your eyes, focus on your breathing, and completely clear your mind of any thoughts. And I'll count. So here we go. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. So how'd that go? You ought to open your eyes. Did focusing on clearing your mind totally get all the thoughts out of your head the whole time? Because my guess is probably not. So something that you will learn to do is to clear your mind, and it becomes easy peasy, but it totally takes practice. Those thoughts just kind of keep coming in, and some days you're going to notice, even when you're good at this, you're still going to be amazed at how intrusive some of those thoughts can be. But for now, I'm going to tell you the same thing that I told my kids. Little tip. Let your mind be like a hill, and your thoughts are like marbles on that hill. So when you notice you have marbles, let them roll down the hill. Don't worry about the fact that they keep coming. Don't get mad at them. Just let them roll down the hill. So, okay. We're going to use what we just learned, and we're going to go ahead and do 2 minutes. So that may feel like a longer time than 2 minutes. It may not feel like you're getting it right away. It may feel like thoughts keep coming in. Let the marbles roll down the hill. It just takes practice. And even people who do it daily don't always have a super easy time of it. So go ahead and get into your comfortable position, spine straight, feet flat on the floor if possible. You can place your hands in your lap, on your legs, on the arm of the chair, whatever's comfortable for you. And go ahead and start your breaths. Take those resetting breaths. This is where you focus on that breathing. Just close your eyes. Think about what it feels like to breathe. You'll hear the air coming in. You can feel it moving out. And let it be big belly breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Or you can do both in and out through the nose. Now let your breathing become a little more natural. So we're going to move away from the big resetting breaths. Just let your breath come the way it normally would. Even, deep. Keep focusing on it. I'm going to let you just breathe for a bit. If you have thoughts coming in, just let them go. They'll find you again later. Just let your marbles roll down the hill. Okay, time to come back. Open your eyes. And how do you feel? Pay attention to how you feel. Maybe some of what came into your mind when you were meditating. Doesn't hurt to pay attention to where your mind is floating. In fact, my husband recommends for beginners something he calls the candle meditation. You have your eyes open for that one, and you light a candle and just focus on the flame. Then you bring a pad and a pen to make a tick mark every time your mind wanders. And he said that just try it for several days, and you will notice that at first you may be really, actually, you may do better than you expect. You may be very happy with that. But then your performance will decline. You will start to have a lot more tick marks on the page, might get a little bit frustrating. Definitely an opportunity to work on that non-judgmental feeling. But then you're going to start to get good again. So that was something that's kind of interesting, and I can totally attest to this. So the ability to clear your mind is a lot like a muscle. So you just build it like you're doing exercise. And so the ability to be non-judgmental about it, though, that is a habit that you can build. So what we just did was a basic awareness meditation, focusing on that awareness of being there, breathing, sitting where you're sitting. You can feel the chair, all of that. It's just awareness of your current situation. And so in order to, enhance and practice your focus, another thing you might try is counting breaths. So what you do is you only go as high as 10. This is in that book I'm going to show you. So they have a bunch of ideas. So you only go as high as 10 and then you restart. But you see how many times you can get to 10 without losing count. So this was super hard for me at first. I didn't think it was going to be. I often could not get past 3 or 4. So that seemed laughable and absurd to me. And I promise you, I was being very judgmental. But I did get better over time. So nowadays, I almost never lose count. So there is hope. I just feel like this basic awareness and breathing exercise is a really great place to start. It is certainly where I started. But if you're ready for something more, I told you I was going to bring the tarot cards into this. So tarot cards are awesome because they are basically, it's like the entire human condition in 78 cards. You can shuffle, see what comes out, and then meditate on the card. And see how it relates to your situation. So let's just kind of see what's down here. Oh, nice. Nice. Right away, we get the devil. So, you could pull the devil card and meditate on the forces that impact you, that may even exercise some control over you. So, obsessive thoughts, addictions. Because, I mean, if you look at the imagery on the card too, that can help you out. Anything that has its hooks in you or it feels like it's chaining you up, do you have shadow work to do? I would recommend this one for when you want to go deep. And I wouldn't worry about whether it comes in reversed or right side up unless you really feel like it. So here we have the Sun card. This one's a little bit easier. So this is a card of happiness and illumination. It is, look at it. It's success. It's vitality. This is happiness in a card, So you might take this concept into meditation with you and think about what constitutes true happiness for you. Where in your life have you maybe experienced it before? Things like that. So you could really just grab any card. They will all work for this. And you don't even have to own a deck of tarot cards. You don't need to buy one. You can just use a tarot card generator on the internet and probably be able to like scroll down to get the definitions. Because, the object here is not for you to learn how to read tarot. It's to get a concept for you to meditate on. Literally any card in the deck will do. So that's how I tie in tarot. I just wanted to kind of share that with you because it's actually a way that I have meditated in the past. And it allows you to explore a lot of things. Like I said, it's the human condition in 78 cards. And I wanted to show you this too. So I mentioned a book. A few years ago, I had this neighbor. I'm going to tell you about this neighbor who lived across the street from me, who was an accomplished meditator. He was older than I was and had all these, really cool kid friends, right? And I was totally in my 20s, but this guy was at least in his 30s. And anyway, I decided I was going to try to hang. We were both pretty impressed at my ability to sit still for 10 minutes. He said I had promise, but, obviously needed to do some work. And he gave me a book called The Miracle of Mindfulness. So this is it. This is actually the copy that he gave me. So what it is, it's actually a manual on meditation written by Thich Nhat Hanh, who is a Buddhist monk from Vietnam. So I guess a friend had asked him about how one goes about meditating because it looks super intimidating from the outside. And this is probably especially true if you're hanging out watching monks. But anyway, he wrote a letter back. And so that's what this book is. Since then, it's been translated into like 80 languages because it takes something that looks complicated and mysterious and mystifying, and it breaks it down into words I would have understood when I was 6 years old. So this book feels like it's kind of for anyone. And then he wrote a second one called Peace is Every Step, and it's about the same size. This one's where I learned more about the walking meditation, which I guess you could call the showering meditation or the washing dishes meditation that I talked about earlier. It's super cool. You don't look crazy doing it. You can be at work, taking care of the kids. It's really neat. This is where the slowing down time piece really becomes useful and practical. So anyway, these are neat. I'll put the books or the links to the books in the comments if you want to check them out. And so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. But I hope that this little bonus video was helpful. And I especially hope you'll be able to take advantage of it now, very soon, while that veil is a little bit thinner. And maybe this is a good time because we'll be able to find more inner silence and connection a little more easily than usual. So I will be super interested to hear your thoughts on this one. Please come find me, as you do, on Instagram, email, Facebook. And, let me know if you have topics that you want to hear about, whether it's mantras and meditation or readings that you want to hear. Just keep me posted. Let me know. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. I love you guys. I'll see you back in a tarot reading sometime soon.